What's up, comic fans? This is the top three. It's our weekly video series where we bring you our personal top three picks of comics that come out every single week. And I'm Confire Rich.
And I'm Confire Nate. And the first comic we're going to talk about, I know it was our first comic a few weeks ago, but it's such a great series that you need to be involved. You need to read this It is Batman number 43. Now,
42.
42.
Nate's jumping the gun on us. I know you're ready for 43, bro. Just let's get through 42 first.
I'm jumping the gun. I'm excited. I'm thinking about what's going to happen in 43. I'm sorry, 43. Yeah, Batman 42, and again, this story arc is one of the more unique story arcs. I mean, it's missing Batman.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many Batman story arcs where you don't have
Batman's not there.
Batman?
You don't have Batman. I mean, you basically have, the version of Batman. Jim Gordon gets all jacked. He gets his steroid pills. He gets his, LASIK eye surgery, and his. It's funny because in this comic he's got his nicotine patches all over his arm. He's not smoking. Yeah, he's a changed man, and he's rocking the big suit, big old robotic Batman suit. So, again. There's no Batman. But the interesting thing about this particular issue, which I like, is they're starting to set the groundwork for something coming. Okay, basically, all these characters, like from the very first, from 41 last week, these guys are just regular old bummy villains who, it just so happens that Gordon has collared all of these guys. And someone is putting a little seed inside of them, which is giving them super abilities. But it also is kind of like if you get caught, we're going to set it off and it's going to kill you. So all of a sudden, there's all these normal just street thugs that, Gordon's been involved with in the past that now all of a sudden have crazy superpowers. And, this guy can control matter, and he's beating down the bat suit with brick, giant brick fist and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's like, what in the world's going to happen? What's going on with this? So it's definitely setting the groundwork for a mystery, which is what we, what we like the best about, Batman the detective. And now it's actually Batman the detective, Detective Gordon, and, he's no longer the commissioner. He's sitting there talking to another commissioner. It is Jim Gordon doing the work. And he's already, thinking about this. You can kind of see he's going through in his mind what's going on. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I mean, the issue ends with him going to see Bruce Wayne. Okay, Bruce Wayne is, from the last issue, Bruce Wayne was sitting there on a park bench, and it was like, okay, he's not dead, so what's he doing? Well, now you actually get to see him. Dude's got this, been on vacation for 3 months, beard going on. He's out there, helping these orphan kids. And guess who's there? Somebody we just got to talk about a little while ago. Duke Thomas. Okay, remember we talked about Duke a little while back in We Are Robin? Guess what? He's there. So what's going on with Duke? Duke seems to be in everything right now. Duke's getting, a little bit of love from Batman, and now he's getting a little bit of love from his own comic. So he's there. Batman's taking care of it, and he's just working there. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's exciting.
Yeah,
man.
there's a couple interesting things. One, I like new villains. We always talk about the Joker and him being the #1 nemesis and stuff for Batman. And to be honest, every time they bring in the Joker, it's kind of tired to me. As menacing as he is, it's like, okay, I know the Joker. Give me somebody that I don't know. And is Mr. Bloom, is this new? I feel like it's new. I don't know about any of the old comics, but that's the new supervillain that they're talking about, is this Mr. Bloom. Because if you know, the seed has like a little flower on it that they're embedding into the ankle of these bombs, as they're trying to perfect his craft, his peel to turn these people into bad guys. So
yeah, and it's interesting because they actually say they were like, well, good luck, now you finally got your own supervillain.
I like that. I like that they got a new villain, and I'm curious.
I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it could be someone new or it could be someone old. I mean, it kind of, like, I'm going through my mind from reading Batman comics forever. You know, who likes to put things in people to kind of control them to a point. And the only person, I mean, they're not really controlling them, but the first thought I had in my head was something like Mad Hatter. You know, putting some type of, you know, device in there to kind of like, but he's not really controlling them. He's giving them an ability. And then if they get caught, releases radiation that kills them.
Well, they're perfecting it. That's what made me think that the villain might be kind of new, because the first two were complete duds. Mm-hmm. You know, so like...
Right.
Seems like they're trying to perfect their craft so that they might be new. I hope they're new. That would be interesting. I like that.
It would be exciting if it's something new. Something new that's
just like the Court of Owls. You know, I liked it because it was something new and completely different, and this looks like it might be the same. Another interesting point is with Duke. Are they going to be using him as this story arc, or maybe more to come, keep going on? Is it going to kind of interweave with the We Are Robin, where he might, you know, come up? Is Bruce Wayne going to be behind the shadow setting up We Are Robin? Because you mentioned earlier about there might be somebody wielding stuff, and like he's there. Maybe Bruce Wayne's recruiting these troubled kids or whatever, and setting them on a path.
That's a very good. Yeah. That's a very good possibility. You know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I thought about that too. I thought about a couple different ideas when I read that comic. You know, who it could be, and that's definitely one of my options.
It might be.
So it could be. But this issue just reiterates.
Yeah.
Duke Thomas, he's there.
Well,
you know.
What do you think about that? They called it the Bat Truck, but it was more like a Bat train. Did you see that thing? It was like, she couldn't even fit up over the bumper when she was leaning up against it. I was like, that is the most unfunctional piece of equipment I believe I've ever seen, ever. They spent $15 million on. I'm like, what are they going to do with that? And it was like, oh, they put it in this comic for one reason, so they could drop it out of the sky conveniently on top of the guy that he just, you know, stuck there in his rock body. And I was like, oh, brother.
Yeah, I think if anything, this is also to kind of point that, you know, they're trying to replace Batman's equipment, you know, and Batman had spent so much time with this stuff that they're like, okay, let's do something bigger. Let's do a Bat Truck. The real Batman's not going to be running around with a Bat Truck. I mean, he needs something small, something maneuverable, but they're thinking bigger, and that kind of seems what they're thinking. I mean, Batman is now wearing a giant mechanical suit. Bigger is better. Well, bigger is better is not always true, and in this case, I mean, it helps, but it's destroyed. So it would have been a lot more easy if there was a Batmobile that came out of nowhere and shot this dude with, you know, something. So I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do.
That whole aspect, and you see, you know, Jim Gordon, you know, struggling with Batman as an idea and how he's becoming his own, because he still doubts himself. He's in the suit and he's fighting. He's just like, oh, you're not Batman. You never were. You know, even when he's in the middle of these conflicts, he still doubts himself. And you get Alfred's daughter kind of giving him a word of advice, like Batman wasn't trying to be that particular symbol. He was just Batman. He was just himself. He had certain ideas.
And I thought that was interesting too. Now that you mention that, is that he actually said to her, "You used to really work with him, didn't you?" You know, it's like his detective. You know, kind of. He could tell, like he knew something was up. And, I mean, we all knew, but, you know, we didn't know if he knew. And he was able to pull it up, and she was like, you know, yeah, and it was, I was excited about that. I didn't know if that was going to be something that they were going to drag along, it's just kind of out there. But now it's just like.
You see that Jim Gordon's quickly realizing, at least I think he's quickly realizing, that this certified Batman that's owned more or less by the city probably isn't going to work out very well, because they've already cut him out of the loop. How are you going to cut Batman out of the loop to do his behind? That's how the stuff got solved, was all the behind the scenes detective work that he was able to do. He's not like a hitman. It's not like, hey, we got the information, now Batman, you can go collar him and take him out. It was like, no, Batman had to do research. He had to study him. He had to get into the psyche of these bad guys. He had to do all this stuff behind the scenes so that he could take them out, not just manhandle all the bad guys. And so they've already cut him out of the loop.
Right.
Jim Gordon, you could tell he doesn't like that. And I think I was curious. I read it again this morning. because it was like late last night. It was 1 o'clock. I was falling asleep, and I was like, man, I need to go back and read some of that again. And after I read it again this morning, I was like, why is he going to Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. We need to talk. What in the world did you talk with Bruce Wayne about? Because Jim Gordon doesn't know Bruce Wayne was Batman. So he's got to be after Bruce Wayne's money because he knows that Bruce Wayne funded Batman before. And I think he's trying to break away from the government, do his own thing by having Bruce Wayne fund him as the new Batman.
No, that's a really good point, you know, because Batman, I mean, Bruce Wayne has the money. So if that's what he's wanting to do, if he's really wanting to get out from underneath those guys, that would be the guy to go to. And he already has Batman Incorporated connections, so, you know, I don't know. He uses detective skills to find Batman, so I don't know what's going to happen. But, of course, it leaves it on a cliffhanger for us to want to see 43, so
exactly.
We'll just have to wait a little bit longer to read that. But we can talk about the next one, which is Lando #1. So if you're a Star Wars fan, there's not a lot to know about Lando except for what you know from the show. So if you'd like a little backstory, get a little information on Lando, this is what you should read. Now, it's not going to be an ongoing series. It's only going to be a 5-part series. But this first one was just it got me so excited. I can't wait to read the next ones, you know. It's written by a great writer, which is Charles Soule, he's written a lot of great stuff. I mean, I put him in the same echelon as Scott Snyder when it comes to guys who are just really, really great storytellers. And it's really exciting to see him writing something like this because, you know, this story, I mean, you can see the foundations for this story in this one issue alone that you're already just like, I can't wait for the next 4. You know, what they're going to talk about, you know. And even if you don't like Lando, you're going to like this because it's got Star Wars stuff in it that's going to make you excited for Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars, yeah, you're probably not going to dig this comic.
Yeah, you got to be. I mean, like, and if you like Star Wars, you're going to like Lando and you're going to like this comic.
Exactly.
The reason why I think I like it is because we don't know a ton about him other than what they kind of talk about in The Empire Strikes Back and then a little bit in Return of the Jedi. We don't know a ton, so any information we're getting about it, it's just interesting. Like, it's just interesting to know about this character. And let me tell you, when they first opened up and you see him and he's talking, when I read the first words, I couldn't help but, like, in my mind, hear it as Billy D. Williams. Oh, you know, just like, sure. Yeah, I'm thinking about stealing this trinket here. You know, it's just like totally Billy D. Williams voice all the way through is what I imagine when I'm reading this.
Yeah, and he was classic, you know, ladies' man. You know, he's sitting there with this chick, and he's basically like, you know, tells her what she wants to hear, and then basically almost reverse manipulates her again into just giving it to him. And then he goes back, and he's like, well, it's so much easier if instead of stealing it, she just gave it to me. You know, so it's just like, it's kind of funny because you find him in a situation where he's not running a city. He is basically in debt to people, and he's trying to pay those debts. So he's trying to figure out what he can do, and he goes to this guy, and the guy's like, yeah, that used to be mine, so I'm not going to consider this as payment. So he only takes it as a percentage of it, but just like, you know, oh, well, I'm going to offer you something else that might work. So he gives them an opportunity. He said, listen, there's this great easy score, you know, the easiest score, the best score, all you got to do is just go pick this thing up and man, you're going to make money. So what it comes out to be is that there's a ship and it's in dock and there's no one hardly around to secure it, so or protect it. So they're basically going to go in, pick up the ship, and supposedly all this guy wants is a ship. Doesn't care what's in it, but apparently the guy that owns the ship's a huge collector, so there's all kinds of goodies just waiting to be taken and sold, and you know, money to be made. So he recruits a couple people. He recruits one guy who seems to be kind of like a collector, you know, an antique collector. So he's gonna know what's good and what's not, you know, basically. And he basically comes to this guy, and then he basically gets him 2 hired guns, some muscle, to do the dirty work if need be. And they go and they steal the ship. And it's as smooth as it can be, except there's a problem. What's the problem, Richie?
They stole Emperor Palpatine's ship. So they're about to be in a world of hurt. I didn't know where they was going with it. I was like, oh, they're stealing the ship. It was cool. Then you had I don't know the guy's name, the guy that served under Palpatine, and he goes in. He's like, my lord, we have a problem, and then it just kind of shows the Emperor. I was like, oh, they done.
Yeah. So
that's why it wasn't stolen. It kind of reminded me of that movie Gone in 60 Seconds when the guys went and stole that car, and he was like, yo, it was easy. The keys were in it. He was like, do you think, why nobody ever stole that car before? It was because they don't want to mess with the guy who stole it, or who owns it. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It's kind of a similar situation. They didn't think they needed to protect it because who would be dumb enough to go in and steal the Emperor's personal ship?
Yeah, pretty much the baddest guy in the galaxy. You just went up to the baddest guy and stole his Cadillac. He left the key in it, and you took it, and you're like, oh, well, you don't know who this guy is. And I'm wondering, I would only imagine that the guy that sent them on this mission did know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe they're all kind of, but I kind of have a feeling this guy knows. And he's just like, get the ship, you can keep whatever's in it, but I'm figuring what's
you think it's deeper than just him getting revenge? Like, he owes me a debt. I'm gonna go have him steal the ship. He's gonna catch him and kill him, or do you think the guy who sent him on the mission is being manipulated by somebody? Because it would seem a little bit more likely.
It would. I have more feeling that there's probably more stuff in that ship, and that's kind of makes me interested. What in the world could the Emperor have in his ship? Okay, not the ship itself, but what's in the ship.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's got some stuff in there that he's going to want back. It's probably not so much that they took the ship. It's what's in the ship. Kind of like that busted Cadillac and it's full of freaking drugs. Yeah. Okay, so there's something in that ship that he's going to want to get back. And that's where this thing's going to go out of control. Man, it is just, it's exciting. I'm really loving it. I'm loving it. I love Lando. I love the character. I love what we got I hate that it's only going to be, the worst part about it is knowing that it's only going to be 5 issues long. Like, it's a mini-series. I'm like, man, I would love to see Lando.
It's only 5 issues?
It's only going to be 5 issues.
Okay. So well, they're going to wrap it up pretty quick then, so whatever's going to happen is going to get popping. And
yeah, so it could be 5 really strong. I mean, this is the first issue, and it was strong. So,
yeah,
I mean, if all of them are as strong as this, then it's just going to be fantastic. But that leads to our next one, which is Bloodstrike #1.
Bloodstrike. Probably the most suitable name for a comic that I've read so far. Because it's bloody. From page 1. This is a interesting concept. So you have these, I don't want to call them superheroes, but they've been given this ability. They've been turned into assassins, like this team of assassins. They carry out missions.
Kind of like mercenary assassins. They can do anything. They're part of the special team, and they get called to do missions, and they have the advantage of if they get killed, they can bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
That they can bring them right back to life with no problem. I mean, they can get really killed.
It's like they rematerialize them a new body.
That's right.
Or body parts or whatever.
I mean, basically, this comic is created from Rob Liefeld, which, if anyone knows who that is the creator of Deadpool, Cable, X-Force. I mean, if you're a Deadpool fan, read this. Okay, you're gonna love it. It's great. I mean, it's got a whole lot of guts and sex and jokes and all kinds of other craziness going on, and that's exactly what this thing's about.
Cockiness, that the dude they kind of introduces to at the beginning. He's real. It's very Deadpool-ish. Like, I'm reading it thinking, man, this is a lot like Deadpool. And then you had to explain to me. He's like, well, it's the same guy who created Deadpool. And I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense then.
It's pretty crazy, and from the beginning it kind of starts off. This guy's going on his own, doing his own mission, and stuff goes wrong. Dude gets cut in half. I mean, he is literally hanging in half, and they basically come to rescue this guy. And when they come to rescue him, they materialize him, and he's missing a particular body part that most men would hope not to be missing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it turns out that they actually stole this part from him. So this guy, and it's funny because the story arc is actually called The Junk. So it's pretty funny because this guy's junk is missing. And I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with anything.
Well, yeah.
I feel like
we are.
This person, well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's that humorously clever thing that apparently this woman wants his junk for a reason. It also kind of seems like there's another ulterior, you know, because when the character, what's her name, I don't know, the crazy chick that messed him up, basically took his junk to this other lady, and she basically said, you know, she wanted it for revenge, but she also had plans with it. So, I don't know.
Well, she's going to make her own army because she's one of them. She used to be one of them.
Yeah.
Like, she used to be part of this Bloodstrike Force team or whatever, and she went rogue and she left them. She's wants revenge against them. I'm not really sure. Maybe she hates that life. But at any rate, she's going to take his man parts and use that to produce her own army of people that she can send. And they must not function like a real human body because the dude was literally hanging there with his guts hanging out. He would have passed out, but since he didn't pass out, he decided to chew his arm off. And it's bloody. So if you like bloody comics,
I think, it was. I think probably the funniest thing, the part that made me. It takes a lot for me to laugh out loud reading a comic, but when he put himself back together and he looked down and he said he looked like a Ken doll.
Yeah,
I busted out laughing, because it just, he
I got no parts,
and he was missing it. So, I guess she's going to take the DNA from this part of the body and do this. Now, I wonder if she had to have this particular part or if she did that just out of spite.
Yeah, just to have it.
Could she take a foot? Could she take a leg? Could she take an ear? Or did she take his junk because she wanted to, basically give him a good, finger in the face. I'm taking your junk and I'm going to do this. So, I don't know. Yeah. We don't know. I guess we'll see. But I have a feeling he wants his junk back and we're going to find out how he gets it. That's why I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see happen.
Yep. It's interesting. We're going to see where it goes. But that's our top 3. I was about to call it the junk. Bloodstrike, issue 1. Lando, issue 1. And then we had
Batman.
Batman 42.
42, yeah.
Batman 42.
Yeah, I got excited. I thought 43.
So, that's why you threw me off. He was jumping the gun there on us. But, hey, like, comment, subscribe, get in the conversation. We love talking about this kind of stuff. Follow us on Twitter, Comfire Rich. That's Comfire Nate. Let us know what you think. Until next time, we out.
See ya.